But now we are excited to introduce Maggie Cleary. Maggie, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Maggie, you're with Morrisville Co-op or MoCo as it's also known. Can you give us a little background on the project and your role in it?
Yeah. So basically, the Morrisville Co-op is a cooperative. We are trying to start a food co-op in downtown Morrisville, and we've been at it for a couple of years now. It actually originally came out of a series of community meetings about revitalizing downtown Morrisville. And a number of community projects kind of hatched out of that, and a few task forces were formed. And the Morrisville Food Co-op is actually the only task force from those original meetings that is still at it. So we've come a long way. We are 420 members strong, and we just recently have secured a location for our future store, which is a really exciting milestone for us.
And so starting from that commission or that group that came together to talk about this idea, what's been your process to kind of build up towards this point? Has it been mostly kind of people who know people, like reaching out to different communities? Like, how has that organizing process worked for you guys?
Yeah, it was very, very grassroots from the beginning. So this started with a group of probably like 12 really involved people who had never done this before. No experience starting business, no experience starting a co-op, and they did their homework. Luckily, there are a lot of really great resources out there for people that are trying to start food co-ops. We hooked up with Food Co-op Initiative. We are a member of the Neighboring Food Co-op Association, which is a group of about 35 food cooperatives and startups in New England that basically all, it's a cooperative of cooperatives essentially, and they all get together to support each other. So there's people who have done this before, and they've helped us along the process. But essentially, it was from the get-go. It's people knowing people. It's been a very personal community connections is what has gotten this thing going. So we pull from, we call it the Lamoille Valley region, which ends up being much of Lamoille County and a little bit beyond. Many of our members are from Morrisville, the town of Morrisville. We have lots of members from Stowe, lots of members from Hyde Park and Elmore, all of the smaller surrounding towns. Basically anybody who comes to Morrisville, lives in Morrisville, works in Morrisville, and has an interest in seeing this business happen in downtown Morrisville. So yeah, basically we just we started a pledge drive so it was June of last year, not this June, and that was basically to gauge community support. It was essentially going out into the community and saying, would you support this project? And we got about 500 pledges, almost 500 pledges, and that gave us the confidence basically to start moving forward and starting to collect actual concrete memberships. So I am the staff member, the lone staff member for the Morrisville Food Co-op, and I was a volunteer with the project for a while, and then took the job on last spring. It's helpful to have a full-time. I'm not full-time. I'm sorry. I'm very part-time. Actually, I'm about 20 hours a week. But it's helpful to have a staff person. It is my responsibility to take this on. I put 15 to 20 hours a week into this project, and that just kind of really helps to keep things moving forward on a good timeline.
So going back to the commission that sort of identified this need and going out into the community and gauging community support, what kind of what have you heard from the community in terms of how this would fill a need for Morrisville and the surrounding community?
Yeah, the Morrisville Co-op it fills a lot of needs at the same time, which is, I think, really the appeal of this project. And our members come from all different mindsets as far as to the number one reason why they support us. First of all, there is no food co-op in this region. And, I don't know how much we're all familiar with. A food co-op is a different food shopping experience, essentially. They have a larger bulk section. They really support local agriculture, local farmers, local food producers. It's in the business makeup. And you don't find that same shopping experience in other stores. So there's that. There's a lot of people from our community that are driving to Hardwick and to Montpelier to get what they need from a food co-op. We go to Buffalo Mountain in Hardwick or to Hunger Mountain in Montpelier. And that kind of driving to purchase the food that you need is not a sustainable situation. It's frustrating for people here. So there's that. There's also this, desire to revitalize our downtown. So Morrisville is going through a lot of changes right now. We just put in our bypass. It's a truck bypass essentially that's been in the works for a long time, and they just completed it. So now it's basically really, really easy to drive from one side of Morrisville to the other without actually going through the downtown, which is great in many ways. It's much more convenient. It's much faster. It keeps the big trucks out of these tight corners in downtown Morrisville. And so what that means is we're kind of like at a crossroads. It's a great opportunity. In some ways, you could look at it negatively and say, hey, everyone can just drive past downtown Morrisville and, never even know it exists. However, you can look at it in a much more positive way and say, we're taking traffic congestion out of downtown Morrisville. We're making it an easier town to walk and bike around, an easier town even to drive through and find parking in. And there's a lot of great changes happening because of that in downtown Morrisville. A lot of businesses are opening. And, it's basically the community wants to make sure that in this crucial time period where things are changing in downtown Morrisville, that the change is positive and that we're bringing people into the downtown, to park their cars, walk around, check out the stores, check out the restaurants, and realize that downtown Morrisville is a vibrant community. So a food co-op can be a really important cornerstone in a community like that, in a downtown community, because a food co-op attracts people. It can attract people from all around the county. So they come into downtown Morrisville, they park, they do the grocery shopping, then they check out a cafe or they, go to the bookstore, things of that sort. So that is a real appeal in our community too, is to revitalize our downtown, bring good, active vibrancy to our downtown Morrisville. So it's a project that has a wide-ranging appeal, and we're starting to really see that in our membership. And it's really cool to ask people why they became members of the co-op, because there's a lot of diversity in that. There's people who are diehard, food co-op members, and they'll drive 30 miles to buy their bulk goods. And then there's the people that just know that this can be a really great thing for our town.
So one of the things that seems to have made it a lot more concrete that happened yesterday is you guys put out a great photograph of all of these members standing around sort of in front of your new location. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the origins of this pretty big milestone for you guys, and where it is and how it fits into that downtown thing you were just discussing?
Right. So basically, as I said, this whole project originally came out of the idea of revitalizing downtown, and a food co-op just seemed to be a really great fit for that because it was something that a lot of people in this area already want and need. And now we've been working on this for over 2 years, always with that, in the back of everyone's mind that we want this to be downtown. We want this to be downtown. We did a number of feasibility studies, actually. Consultants that kind of come in and study traffic patterns and all that kind of thing, and a downtown location was not their number one recommendation, which is something we had to consider. It's frustrating when you do studies that end up conflicting with what you kind of feel is right for your community. But what it came down to is a cooperative, is defined by its membership. And our members were telling us time and time again that they were supporting this project. As much as they want a food co-op in this county, the real number one reason that they supported this co-op is because they believe that it can make a real difference in downtown. And we went with that. We believe that our community knows what it wants and what it needs. So we have been looking for locations in the downtown, and this one building at 46 Pleasant Street has always been kind of the best candidate. It's the right sizing. It's kind of move-in ready. It's in good shape. It's got access from 3 directions. It's got good parking. It's got space for a loading dock, all those good infrastructure things that are just going to make our lives a lot easier trying to put this thing together. And what it comes down to is that we couldn't commit to a location up until this point, and really still at this point, because we don't have the capital and we don't have a strong enough membership yet. We have, as I said, 420 member households, which is great. That's not nothing, and it shows a lot of work, and it shows a lot of people who have been dedicated to this project before there was anything really tangible to hold on to. But, we don't have the capital or the membership to sign a lease yet. So we were lucky in the sense that we have some very committed members. One of them actually is a board member, Susan Titterton, and her husband, Bob. And they were on the original task force, some of the real kind of pushers from the get-go about getting this thing going. And they were able to purchase the building at 46 Pleasant Street with the intention of renting the ground floor to MoCo when we are ready to fill it, essentially. So this is just a huge milestone for us in so many ways. On a community level, it's something tangible that people in the community can really see and feel and visualize. I've been setting up the office in there. People are welcome to come in and check it out. People can walk around and kind of just get a feel for it and really be like, oh, this is something that can happen here. We're hoping it's going to have a great boost of membership, because that's something that you hear from people, and it's a very understandable thing is, where is it going to be? Is this really going to happen? I'm not sure I can just jump into this project and pay my $200 membership fee if this isn't going to happen. People need to see something. So we're hoping they will really help with boosting membership. And also it's really helpful in our planning as far as store design and layout. And, up until now, all of the stuff we've been doing for our financials and our business planning have been rather abstract. It's good guesses as far as like the general spacing and sizing and things, but now we have this space and we can basically really get down into pricing it out exactly what we need to build a co-op in this space. And that's going to really help us to know exactly what we need for capital when we get into our capital campaign. So basically, we have a great space to occupy as office space and meeting space right now. We have a great place to visualize what our future co-op can look like, but we are not move-in ready by any means. We definitely need to increase membership, and we need to get into our capital campaign so that we, have the funds to build this out.
So, so when you're mentioning the membership, do you have a particular membership goal in mind? And then for the capital campaign, is the idea to do kind of a member loan campaign, or what? What's going to be the approach going forward to get you from here to there?
Next steps here? So yes, we do have goals. We've always kind of had this very vague membership goal. Most co-ops open their doors with about 1,000 members. So this is, what FCI tells us, what the NFCA tells us. This is just a good guideline to go by. It's not a set in stone number. It's not like you wait until you get your 1,000th member and then you open the doors. But it's a very comfortable place to be once you're opening the doors of your co-op. So that's kind of our long-term goal and sort of a more vague one. But when we're talking, short-term concrete goals, we are looking to increase our membership by the spring into the 600 to 700 range. So that will put us in a really confident place to sign a lease on this building. At that point, we know we've really got the community support behind us, and we can feel confident committing to this space and starting to build it out. Also, people who have done this before, as well as professionals involved in the field, tell us that 700 members, you don't want to have too much less than 700 members to start your member loan campaign. And this is going to be a really important part of our funding. So essentially, when it comes to funding a project like this, you have your memberships, which is great, capital, because you don't have to pay it back It's just there, and we already, we're building that now. Every member that becomes a member of the co-op is going to be a portion of that capital, and then there'll be, more conventional loans from banks. This is obviously not the most preferred form of capital because there's interest and you have to pay it back. Grants and things like that. We have somebody who is a former board member, actually, whose sole job it is now to be looking into grants and what we can get in, to help us along the way. And then member loan campaign is a really big part of our funding. So essentially, in the member loan campaign, we go back into our membership, which is, our community, and see basically what people are willing to loan or donate, in the form of preferred shares. And that becomes a really crucial part of our funding. Generally, the interest rates are lower when they come from your members. And also, it's just as far as, when you think of it as a community project, and we want this thing to be built by the community. And when the money comes in, these little increments from all over the county, it just has a much stronger meaning for when you're getting this thing built. It really creates a sense of ownership and pride in this community-owned grocery store that we're trying to build. So that's, where membership becomes really important. I mean, obviously, we are cooperative. We are defined by membership. Membership will always be important because we own the store. But right now, at this point in our development, membership is so crucial because it provides a good portion of that capital. It sets us up to form, to pull off a successful member loan campaign. And it also is the number one indicator of support from our community that we can show to potential lenders and donors and, when we're writing grants and things of that sort, showing this number of members from our community is what it's all about with a project like this.
Well, congratulations on finding that space. That's a huge step forward for the co-op's
it is very
efforts.
Exciting. We invite anyone who wants to come stop by and check out the space. I should be in there holding office hours starting the week after next. I'll be there Tuesday afternoons, Wednesday mornings, Friday mornings. So please check the website and you can check out that schedule and come by and check it out and visualize how it can be. It's exciting.
And as you look ahead to continuing to grow membership to get to this critical mass, what sort of strategies do you envision? Are there events coming up where folks can sort of learn about the co-op and get involved?
Yeah, we do a number of, we always try to do at least, 1 or 2 a month of a mixer is what we call them. And up until now, we've always done them in different businesses around the county. Just kind of people, oftentimes there are members and they invite us into their business, and we kind of set up shop and, anyone can come by and learn about the co-op, and we've done a lot of those. We'll probably start doing a lot of those types of events in our space now that we have it, just because, it's a nice space to invite people into, and it's just a nice way for people to kind of, get in the building, get a feel for it, and really start to get a picture of what it could be like to have a store in there. So that's part of it. We're trying to really encourage our members to throw house parties. That's something that's been successful in the past. And this basically, this really personalizes is the project. It's basically some of our members might invite their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers, their colleagues to their home for the purpose of learning about MoCo. And representatives from MoCo come and talk, and it's it is really a direct pitch for membership, but it kind of makes it fun and social, and it helps people to understand, my neighbors are doing this, my friends are doing this, my coworkers are doing this, I can do this too. So that's a big part of it, and we're going to really start trying now that we have the space too. It really helps us to get out, in the media ways, Facebook, we got the Instagram going on, ads in the papers and things like that. Our local papers have been really supportive about running, photos and just things like that to get us out in the community. Front Porch Forum has been an amazing way of getting word out. It's free and it reaches people in your community. People are really on the Front Porch Forum and they're paying attention to it. So any of this kind of stuff, we're at a point still where anything that's free is awesome because we don't want to spend our members' money on advertisement. We want to spend our members' money on building a store. So but there's a balance to that. You got to get yourself out there too. So you got to spend a little money in some ways to get the name out. But
Definitely.
a project that we're working on for December that we're excited about too is reaching out to all of our local businesses, because we have a lot of them now, but we could have more, and we should. The Morrisville Co-op is going to be a great thing for business in general in downtown Morrisville and kind of throughout all of Morrisville and in the county, and just helping our business owners to understand that and hopefully to become partners with us. So that's something we're going to be working on through December and January, and kind of featuring those businesses that are supporting us and help to support them. Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for sharing the story so far. And if folks want to learn more, what is the website?
We're at www.morrisvillecoop.com.
Okay.
And you're welcome to friend us on Facebook, and then all of our contact information is on the website there. So give us a call, write us a letter, whatever it takes. Reach out.
Thank you much for giving us the update, and we'll definitely be following your progress as you continue along the road to opening the store.
Great.
Thanks.
Well, thanks so much for reaching out, and I'm happy to be on the show.
All right. Well, take care.
All right. Bye.
All right. Well, it sounds like they're really, really cranking along.
Yeah. That getting the store is it is something tangible. People can get in the space and envision, the store.
Yeah. So we'll be following this story and others, and for folks out there who are watching, who want to keep abreast of all the co-op news, which there seems to be a lot of right now, you can always head over to our Cooperative Vermont Facebook page. And we do this show. We tend to do it every other week. So until next time, I'm Matt Kropp.
And I'm Eric Davis.
Have a good evening.